I would love to.
Because when I'm looking at it, all I see is a black screen.
Oh.
That makes me not happy. Makes me curious as to what's happening.
How would I find it?
Oh, okay, it's good. I refreshed it. We're happening. You can go ahead and put your phone down.
Oh, yay.
I see.
I'm seeing where I can text beloveds. So, just divine that we can feel into the sweetness that all is held in this moment. All is held with such sweetness. All is held with such grace. All is held with such love. All is held with such devotion and tenderness. Just precious, this phenomena. So sweet that we can feel into that. Usually, sometimes maybe we don't feel into just how treasured everything is, how precious everything is. All of it. Okay. All of it. So treasured, so precious, so allowed to have a full life, so allowed to have an honorable undoing, so allowed to appear, appear to flourish, and appear to disappear. So sweet to feel into what we call ourselves, whatever name, whatever the identity, the cluster of descriptions, honey bunches of infinity, crunch, crunch, and how held with such sweetness, so willing to, for the phenomena of a parent name and identity to dawn like a sun, illuminating a dream. And so willing for it to set. Such sweetness. All the things we hold regarding the world, the beliefs, the conscious ones, the unconscious ones, just held so sweetly. How lovely to not have to do anything with them. How lovely to not have to, in this moment, get rid of any of them, or make anything wrong, or make anything unconscious or bad, or just notice. So held, so welcomed. And then also on the practical side of things, what a gift this willingness to open to the truth of who we are, and how kind it is for all the world. It's like real time, immediate kindness to all the world, to the energy of the world, to the climate of this planet, the atmosphere. And not limited to the dream of this world, every world. What is it, the 96 million illuminated planes in Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism? 300 million enlightened civilizations in another system of thought. Doesn't matter the amount or the place. It's all here. And it's all so lucky to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the unwavering Amrita that is your nature. Unwavering Amrita is your nature. Mm. And as we notice this space, maybe all kinds of phenomena want to come to this cuddle puddle. So welcome. Sensations, welcome. Emotions, sentiments, memories, hopes, desires, annoyances, thoughts, dreams, apparent past, apparent future, apparent now. Welcome. You are so good at welcoming. Thank you for being this welcome, this infinite welcome. Thank you for being a welcome so big. You've allowed every expression of possibilities. Thank you for being yourself. It's so beautiful, all the innocent strategies of mind. Strategies that have never once clocked in as a solid groove. So sweetly undoing, undoing, So sweet. And here, so solid, so stable. Thank you for being so solid. Thank you for being sky-like. A sky that's completely delighted with all the apparent phenomena of weather, all the apparent phenomena of billions of stars, and not once looking for SPF in the presence of that light. A sky delighted to be in the presence of billions of raindrops and hail. And not once the concept of shelter not present. The concept of umbrella or raincoat, even if it's a fierce ass raincoat. But how sweet this that we are, that's just as natural as our eyelashes and our skin and our fingertips. You, vast, aware, brilliance, pure love, pure, so appropriate. No other thing but this love. Not once diluted, not once dampened, not once diminished. Even with the dream of an apparent past and all the apparent shit that went down in that apparent past, still here, alive, elastic. 5D collagen, 11D collagen, 78D collagen. You as consciousness itself. Ooh. Dewy, dewy, dewy freshness. Dewy, dewy, delightful dewiness. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Funky fresh. Functified freshness, bitch. Yes. And it's so appropriate that this gets overlooked. It's like, good job, mind, for overlooking this. Good job, mind. You're so good at being mind, right? So good at being yourself. It's like sitting in front of an oak tree and oh my goodness, oak tree. Look at you being so good at being an oak tree. Got your bark on and your acorns. Do oak trees have acorns? Me too. It was a mixed crowd. But what a treat. A lot of times when we don't hear this invitation or this option of perception, it's so innocent for us to identify as something, as someone, and then identify as someone that has a mind, and then believe that we're someone with a mind that's unruly, a mind that's messy, a mind that's spoiled or ruined or tarnished by an apparent past or by society or by the church or by our families or by an ex, or by a neighbor, or by a guru, or by a teacher, or by a cult. Yeah. And then we get really busy at figuring out how to fix this mind. If we're lucky, that's a high state of consciousness to be like, hold up, this shit's fucking crazy. How can I relax this shit? How is it that I can live my life without this motherfucker informing all my actions? Shit. How is it that I can do something a little differently? So powerful and so appropriate and wonderful. If that's like top of the news for you, diving into the mind, looking at what it's made of. A lot of times before we look into what it's made of, we just are super annoyed with it and want to change it and fix it and alter it, give it better thoughts, give it better beliefs, erase beliefs, erase thoughts, or send some thoughts to prison. Same with our feelings and our circumstances, which we can say in this context, all data appearing in the clear open space that is this moment. But we imagine ourselves to be data. Data is forever at war with itself as a strategy to continue the delusion that it exists. The delusion that it is something that needs to be saved, something that needs to be punished, something that needs to be loved, something that needs to be forgiven, something that needs to be banished, something that needs to be embraced. So wonderful, so innocent. And to the mind, it does not feel wonderful, does not feel innocent. It's fucking tedious and exhausting and frustrating. And, gosh, boy, do we then move into all kinds of things to try to cope with this mind that we think is ours, that we think we need to change, that we think we need to shift. And then we just want to avoid whatever thoughts are present and whatever feelings are present due to the power of those thoughts. And we move into the addictions, reaching for anything to hush, the numb, to distract. Again, nothing wrong with all of that. So innocent that these strategies had a chance. And then if there's a moment of sanity or clarity or a stroke of insight, a moment of luck, grace, there's the invitation or the recognition. Oh, maybe I don't have to continue trying to change this thing called mind. Maybe I don't have to continue trying to change this thing called body or change these things called emotions. What happens if instead of being in the weighted, suffocating blanket of changing shit and fixing shit that's not even here? No wonder it's so frustrating, not even here. Maybe there's another option. Maybe there's just another option. Not necessarily another way or another path or another lifestyle or another. Even those, all those can be included. It's okay. But I like feeling into it as like, oh yeah, just another option. Not a have to, not a must, not a you better recognize that you don't got to do nothing with that mind. You better recognize that if you keep trying to fix your mind, you're going to stay in that mind forever. If you keep trying to fix those emotions, you're just going to forever be those emotions. It's like, no, it's so wonderful to give yourself permission to be totally willing for that to last as long as it apparently lasts. So much space, Infinite One. So much space, Infinite One. So much permission, Infinite One. But how sweet that tonight, in this very moment, we can explore from a space of curiosity and feel the ease of, oh wow, I don't have to do anything right now. Everything is welcomed to be as it is. This allows us to get familiar with what mind is forever announcing the presence of. Just as each object announces the presence of space, and sounds announce the presence of that which is listening, that which is listening is silence, silent awareness. And then how sweet phenomena gets to be an ally, just as delighted as the space is. And in that delight, inseparable phenomena, inseparable the absolute, inseparable the void, inseparable the apparent content of the void, inseparable God, inseparable liberation. And in the willingness for mind to be itself, it's like images of those, what are those festivals in India where the colors, the holy festival, yes. It's a holy festival, the mind. Hmm. All kinds of colors. Celebrating, not just colors, but colors celebrating. Ah, so much freedom, so much space. I have full permission to exist and to undo and to rest. Sweet rest. Mind doesn't even need to know that it's already at rest. But indeed, every thought at rest, every thought happening in the most exquisite hammock to ever exist. All feelings at rest, all worlds at rest, all planets at rest. A dear friend of mine went to this event on the 7th of May. I don't know what day that was. Anyone know what day that was? The 7th? That was yesterday? Oh, yesterday. Yesterday. Oh, what's that song? Yesterday, right? And then I was thinking, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know. Remember that song? Boyz II Men song. Yay! Yeah, the Beatles, Boyz II Men. So this event, and it was a lot of different influencers, you can say, and what's another word? Teachers, different fields, different, all from like the conscious space, exploring where are we at, where are we going, what's going on. And one theme that kept coming up that I was so happy that it came up was the theme of give space for the mystery. Give space to the don't know. And I was very happy that they were willing to acknowledge and honor that space. Because that's the truth. We don't know. One thing that's so beautiful about this invitation and getting familiar, it's kind of like, regardless of what's appearing, everything is an opportunity to just be oneself. And that self is love. So it's so clear. There's a shift instead of the emphasis of what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? What's going to happen? It's like, oh, wow. So clear, regardless of what happens. Love. I am love. The option of getting to meet whatever the unfolding, whatever the expression, as the love you are, as the love you've always been. Massive tsunami, love. Earth breaking apart like an egg, love. Even if you're running from a hungry something, love. Yeah, nothing can sway us from being who we are when we're willing to meet it as we are. Mind will be swayed. False evidence appearing real. That, oh, what a swivel, swervel, swivel, swavel. But the unwavering boom that you are, it's like so nice to feel into it. Solid, spacious, immediacy, willing, available, delighted. Anyone have anything you'd like to explore this evening or question? Or anything you think maybe someone else might want to explore and question? Hmm.
I just felt I felt so spoken to tonight.
Uh-huh.
So it's supposedly, and this isn't even true, but supposedly I have anxiety. And
Yay.
it comes
High
and goes,
anxiety.
and
Yeah.
it's like,
So kind that way.
yeah.
Mhm.
And, it's not here right now.
Right.
And it's like you were talking about the weather on the sky.
Yeah.
And because when it comes, it literally feels like I'm going to die.
Right.
um,
Dread.
yeah. Like,
Hmm.
this is not okay.
Right.
And, but like how you say it, I'm starting to really get how you say it's self revealing, because
Ah.
when I was driving here, it's like, oh, what was that? Maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock
Right.
today, there was a kind of
Yeah.
attack,
Agita.
agita. And it's just what you said. The mind would do anything for it wants it to go away.
Right.
Um, but it just goes away,
It does.
just on its own, but not how the mind
Right.
wants it to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So confident that way. That's so amazing. All these things that arise, the different weathers, the different sensations. I mean, what gods and goddesses and amazing beings, amazing energies. Mind is like, hey, get it. And it's just like looking at mine like, I'll take my sweet time. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll move through as I move through. Oh, you want me to leave now? That's a nice thought. Here I am. It's it's incredible, the discovery of our capacity to open and to discover, let's say, the heart's capacity to bear even the apparent unbearable. It's like, oh. And that's what I like, it's the extraction of the nourishment, the nutrients, of the density of those energies. Such teachers, such Buddhas, such allies.
Yeah. And that's exactly the opposite of what the mind will say. The mind
Right.
says that it's not.
Right.
But like you say, it's actually such a teacher, because
Right.
it shows the vastness under.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's amazing what you just
It's
said, because it's the
right.
opposite of what the mind will say.
Right. Right. Yeah, the mind will say, you're getting away with my teaching. Mind will say, you're ruining everything.
Right.
It's my party.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
bringing that up. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Mm. I was so grateful, many years ago when I was invited to do Menudo reunion tours. And consciously, I was super excited. I was just like, oh, yeah, how fun, how wonderful. But there's this body part, the 16-year-old, the 14-year-old. All of a sudden, body started experiencing anxiety. I had no clue it was anxiety. I thought it was blood stuff. So I'm ordering blood tests on Amazon and going to the doctor and saying, "Hey, I'm noticing these sensations," and they do all my thing. Like, everything's fine, everything's great, and then she's like, the doctor's like, "Oh, would you like me to write a prescription for anxiety for you?" And I was like, "What? Anxiety?" I had this very innocent, naive thought that anxiety meant solely that you believed something that wasn't true, and then you had the reaction to it. Now, there is a kind of anxiety that gets as an overlay on top of the initial pre-verbal anxiety that may appear. The anxiety of, I shouldn't have this anxiety. That's an overlay of anxiety. Or, how long is this going to be here? Or, this is wrong. Or, but, and then it was so cool. I was like, oh, and sitting with it, it's like just giving it more and more space. And then also this sense of like, I have no clue how long it's going to be here. And it's like, welcome. Even if you're here my whole life, even if you're here, and it was a sense of vertigo, a sense of, but in the welcome, in the willingness, I still did a whole tour. I still showed up. It was like, and then it would not be there, and then it was gone, and then it would come back, and it was just like, oh, welcome. And then let's say we had an early morning flight, and then a whole day of interviews before a concert at another city in another country, and then anxiety's present the night before. It's like I had 5 hours of sleep and no anxiety's like, and noticing mind. Say, oh, none of that's true. I don't have to sleep right now. It's not, oh, it's best for you if you sleep. No, that's not true. This moment is what's best. And then it's like pure electricity and pure energy and no allegiance to believing anything that I have to be, no allegiance to cause and effect. Oh, if I don't get sleep, I'm not going to show up right for the show. I'm not going to be able to dance. I'm not going to be able to sing. All of that is mind's interpretation, mind's story. And we all know what it is to live in through mind. It's just terror and everything's just, out to get you. But in that openness, I was so grateful. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful to open to this and not have to know any of that to be true. And even though there was energy that we could call anxiety, it was appearing in just total welcome and bliss and willingness. Like, oh, mind. And then there was a lot of petting. I would just be like, oh, beloved body. Beloved 16-year-old Ash, of course, you're like agitated. Of course, this might come up. And then it was like feeling into the aspects of me that's connected to all of life and all the beloveds that experience PTSD and just full on compassion. It was like a deep, it's like the maturity of this welcome, of this openness. I always remember Gangaji, one of the first satsangs that I've ever heard her speak. She mentioned something along the lines of, who you are never need to be learned, never needs to be learned. You are who you are. That doesn't need to be learned. That's you already, who you are, closer than a learning, closer than a definition or a time and even though who you are doesn't need to be learned, there's a teaching that follows, and that we can be devoted to. I heard that so deeply, and I knew that this life dream was in pure devotion to the sensitivity and the vigilance and the awareness and the receptivity of the teachings that follow. The teachings that follow. And body is so good at a teaching that follows. The uncontrollability of life is so good at a teaching that follows. The humility of body, so good at a teaching that follows. Anxiety, aging, aches and pains, people living their own lives, lovers having their own minds, their own choices. So good, the teaching that follows. A world that doesn't want to wake up when you say it should. Such good teaching that follows. Circumstance, mind, story, teaching that follows. It's like all is in support, all is in service, all is an ally, all is a lover, all is romance. Yes, love.
It.
Yay, all is lover, all is romance, all is hey, 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 hey.
I just wanted to say that I caught something at the beginning of this
Yeah.
where you said an honorable
Undoing, dismembering.
something like that. Yeah. However we want to say it. I just really liked that. I think I've heard you say that before in
Yeah.
so many ways that we could come up with.
Right.
But it clicked.
I
Just
love
like,
that.
that feels
Right.
good.
Doesn't that feel good? It's so
Honorable.
loving.
Dissolve.
Yes.
Honorable.
Right.
No more.
Yeah.
So honorable.
Yeah. But does the other part feel good too?
Which part?
A full welcome.
Sure. You welcome. What's next?
Nice.
Come on. More.
And what's here?
All
Nice.
of it.
So good. Yes.
Oof.
Just wanted to make that distinction because it could fall into another like, oh yes, I love that things go away. Go away. And that's not what is being said or being invited. So yeah, in the welcome, in the openness, in the you can stay here forever. You never have to go anywhere. Such permission, such light, such fire, mist dissolving, honorable undoing, honorable disappearing, honorable recognition that it was never here to begin with.
I also would like to input that if you
Yes.
haven't yelled into the mountains before or yelled at the ocean or yelled into something about your gratitude, that it feels really, really good.
Oh, I love that invitation. Thank you so much. So, beloveds watching this, go yell in them mountains and them canyons. Even and how thankful you are and how thankful you are.
I had a really interesting weekend doing a ketamine, ketamine for therapists training. And there's so many interesting parts to it. But one of my favorites was sitting for my partner, who was my retreat partner, who was doing the ketamine, and watching her have all these human experiences and not knowing, of course, what they were, but it was the full gamut of joy and pain and tears. And it was just so neat because it was just the example of like, we all have all of those, and her content was her content. And I'm not sure if I'm explaining it, but it was just so human. It
It's
was just
so
so, I got to witness
human.
such humanity.
Oh, beautiful, right?
Yeah, it was really
Mm.
a
The
privilege.
vulnerability of that willingness for all the emotions. You know, we see it in children, but to see it in an adult, it's rare.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just the interchange, I could be her and she could be me.
Right,
We all have these experiences,
right,
and the content is different, but the content still drives the reaction.
right.
So it was just really
How
healing for me
beautiful. Yeah, that is
and my
so healing.
perspective. And then the other thing that was so
Mm.
interesting was that it was a group of therapists, and
Yeah.
wow, the biases and stories they have about
Mm.
non-therapists using psychedelics, spiritual materialism, having
Mm.
a Buddha, all these different things that are wrong and bad,
Right.
other ways of engaging with psychedelics, was just so interesting
Yeah.
and just so ironic when the point was healing, and that's a one size fits one, and
Right.
so it's just really fascinating to be in
Mm.
that environment, and to feel, I don't know what, I just felt kind of sad and
Mm.
confused in some ways, and
Mm.
also just myself
Right.
right in that. So anyway, it was just a really
Mm.
beautiful um experience in so many ways, and also just somehow a really important piece of integration for me on my journey. So
Right.
I was just grateful for all of it. And I don't know,
Yeah.
not,
I'm so grateful for all of it too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so good and so interesting, right? To be able to just witness,
Mm-hmm.
mind,
Mm-hmm.
to just witness, doesn't matter the field, doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
the capacity to be righteous, the capacity to have your ideas of what's best and what's
Mm-hmm.
not good, and how relevant those can be. So relevant, so sweet. This is such a,
Mm-hmm.
cutting edge conversation, right, for the
Yeah.
species. So it's so great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like
lovely.
I've been in these different psychedelic bubbles, and so
Uh-huh.
it was just cool to see another version.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But mostly beautiful to see the humanity. And I did read Human Beautiful to the group.
Oh, that was so
Yeah,
sweet.
and
Thank
they
you.
loved it. Yeah, it was a really special experience. Anyway.
Right. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's so special. And I just can't help but to feel into, all over the world, the different kinds of, it's like this same thing happening. So many different circles, so many different, trauma informed facilitation programs, and it's so beautiful. What a renaissance of psychedelics we get to be a part of right now, right? Psychedelics, what I love about psychedelics is it's such a sweet counter energy to the psychedelic of mind, the psychedelic of identity, the psychedelic of believing one's thoughts, psychedelic of separation consciousness, psychedelic of time as real, psychedelic of goodness. What a psychedelic. One of the definitions of a psychedelic is something that uh, gives one an experience of seeing things that aren't there. One of the definitions, and boy, does mine give one an opportunity to see things that aren't there. That's so sweet. Yay. So good. What a good planet giving itself this medicine, its own medicine. Yeah, humans as part of the planet. Yeah, knowing exactly where to give the medicine, knowing exactly what aspect of itself to make this medicine available. Ugh, it's so sweet. It's like, oh, this aspect of myself can use some of this medicine to come back home, to can come back and land. Earth, Pachamama. I'm just hearing all these Icaros in my head right now. And beloveds that are experimenting with psychedelics, beloveds watching this, beloveds here, I love extending the invitation to notice, no matter how strong the medicine may seem, whether it be ayahuasca, which is pretty damn strong, iboga, also pretty damn strong, 5 grams of psilocybin, pretty damn strong. To notice that which is never touched by the medicine. To notice that which is never touched by the venom or the unconscious momentum of mind. Mm. A lot of times that doesn't get explored, or maybe even the option to discover that that's a thing in a lot of these circles, even with therapists. You know, it's like just still this allegiance to phenomena, allegiance to thought, allegiance to identity innocently. And how fun that we can notice and play and discover, oh yeah, this is so here, so present, untouched, not phased. I love how it was Papaji who said something along the lines of, and I say it all the time now, imaginary medicine for an imaginary disease. Yeah. So kind this mind gives itself. Permission slips. All of it permission slips. Massage, permission slip. Ayahuasca, permission slip. Iboga, permission slip. Bufo, permission slip. To open, rest, notice. Oh, what's totally at ease, totally here, totally whole, totally reliable. We can say the gift of this invitation of satsang, of human beautiful, is to get familiar with the innocent absurdity of relying on phenomena. That's the way we have been trained to live. We rely on mind. And so if mind isn't doing what we think it should, oh shit, quicksand, quicksand, quicksand. We want to rely on our emotions. Emotions are, oh no, so unreliable, but I want to rely on them, but all over the place, always changing. Or we want to rely on energy, on things we can control, things we imagine we can control, attempt to control. Rely on our vibration. Oh, it's high, keep it high, keep it high. Oh shit, that shit went down in a second. And so in the maturity, you know, we recognize the brittle nature of mind. You know, or let's say we rely on a stillness that comes and goes. It's like, oh, I want that stillness that I get in meditation. And then the rooster goes off, or the car horn, or the knock on the door. And that stillness falls apart, crumbles. So good. Such a gift, such a gift. So appropriate. We rely on conditions, on circumstance. for our well-being. When this happens, I can rest. I remember being a teenager and having this image of like me being this beautiful house in Tiburon, this gorgeous home in Tiburon, and my children upstairs sleeping, and my husband reading me some Ralph Waldo Emerson poetry, and the fireplace is going, and I'm in the most delicious slippers and pajamas and the most delicious couch with the most amazing art and the sweetest Baroque music and poetry, and then it's like, oh, then I can rest. Everything, oh, the most amazing food in the fridge, the most amazing chef watching the soap opera in their little quarters downstairs. Whatever the thought is, my private chef that has their own room, and whatever we imagine, right? Yeah, I know. And the world's all enlightened, of course. Everyone's so present and so respectable. And so in love with each other's differences and cultural differences. It's like, and then I'll finally relax. Then I can rest. Then I can like stop being like, then I can. It was so innocent, so sweet that we lived that way. When the body's okay, when I finally balance out those hormones, when I finally get the right doctor that knows how to do what it needs to do with this, when my car finally runs right, when innocent, nothing, and that's awesome. Like, yay, progress. It has its benefits. How awesome. And it has nothing to do with freedom and well-being. And that's the fun thing we get to discover. I love how Byron Katie puts it when she says, there's only two ways of doing anything. One is in peace and one is in stress. And as we get familiar with this that we can rely on, which is open, aware intelligence, right where you are. Always here. Notice, always been here. So how do we rely on it? Just by opening and allowing mind to be itself. And that relaxes us into recognizing, oh yeah, I am infinite allowing. I've only ever allowed. You have only ever allowed. It's not like you have to master allowing or, get allowing points and you get a free chalupa or allowance. It's as a way of getting familiar. That allowing is only a word that makes sense at the intersection of what is and what's not. Welcome is only a word that makes sense at the intersection of what is and what's not. But as we get familiar, we discover, oh, I've only ever allowed. I am the infinite, boundless welcome of welcomes of welcomes. Oh, I've only ever been at rest. There's never been a moment I haven't been at rest. I am rest. I am stillness. I am. Imaginary medicine for an imaginary disease. And so appropriate for it to seem very real medicine for very real disease. That is so appropriate, has its place. And so honest. It's so good to be honest with ourselves, right? Not trying to force the illusion, but in our honesty of welcome. Oh yeah, that sounds cool, but that's not me right now. I'm all about that real medicine for that real trauma. And that's so important and so appropriate. That's another kindness we give to ourselves, right? Not trying to fast forward our surrender. Anyone at home have a question that may be watching this on YouTube? Feel free. I know there's a delay. Feel free to chime on in. Whoever might be on. What time is it? 8:05. Another couple minutes. Anyone have something else you want to share? It's like, what are you noticing here? What's present? If you'd like to speak to your experience of what's present, I'd love to hear that too. Yeah.
First of all, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
I have been pondering your story that you told last week of the ears,
The big ear.
the big ear. And I had something similar. It wasn't ears, it was a brain.
Oh, yay.
But what I ponder is that since I've been a boy, I've known other. And I've known this awareness that you speak of, that place that is just. That's the only word I can use for
yes. Jai just.
Yeah.
Jai just.
And a question has come up around why. For me personally, having known this, I've just been like everybody else. It's
what
not,
a gift.
Yeah, for sure. And so I've had successes and failures, highs and lows, money and no money. I've lived my life just like everybody else. And the question came up of why? Why is it there? I don't have an answer. And I move forward in my life with this awareness, compelling me to keep living. So I was curious, as I experience you as a somewhat kindred soul, person, do you have a why? Why you do what you do? Why you offer this? Do you have a why or do you not?
Well, I notice when I feel into the why, I notice there's not a lot of energy there. Like I can't find a part of me that's looking for a why, or it's kind of like in the what allows for a why to really have weight are, let's say, the pillars of conditioning, or the pillars of identification, or the pillars of this dream. Someone, sometime, cause and effect. I like to say are the three pillars. And in my experience, I can't find any of those in this moment. Can't find an identity so clear. There's no identity here. Thoughts arise. A sense of an identity may come and go. A wisp of just aware intelligence. Same with time. It's like, oh, clocks may say it. My calendar may say it, but all of it's just announcing now. And so a why would have to assume that there is someone and some place and some effect of some cause. And so it's just, yeah, I notice it's not my experience. And for fun, it's like, you know, to share the love that shines in me, to la love. And why? Why not? Uh, if why feels heavy, we can always look at where that why is coming from and see if, maybe our ego identity, wondrous, marvelous, and innocent, may like a why, may like chewing on a why. It's like, what is the payoff to chew on the why? Does it keep bringing back into focus a world and others and a self and a life and a purpose and a future wondrous? And then what's, the open, spacious fullness? What's that relationship with an appearance of a why? Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
expressed
Mm.
what I was trying to get to, which
Awesome.
is, for me, there isn't a why. It
Ah,
just is.
awesome.
And yet I'm asked often why.
Right.
And I would love to find a way to answer it other than saying there isn't one.
That's so good.
But that's what I'm just going to stick with. So
so good.
thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank
so
you.
welcome, love. So welcome. Mhm. Yeah, how wonderful. All the whys, right? All the whys.
Helps me understand you
Ah.
much more. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it's
I
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. The big brain. Mine was little brain. That's so good. Yeah.
So for you, my story was when I was about 10 years old, I was walking down the street
Uh-huh.
and coming towards me was a mother, and she was
Mm.
holding hands with a boy who had Down syndrome.
Mm.
And I didn't know what Down syndrome was, but I
Mm.
knew he was different.
Yeah.
And I saw his brain, and I saw in his brain the wiring was different.
Ah.
And I saw the disconnections of his synapses. I didn't even know what these were at the time. And what I got was, it's all about connection.
Mm.
And he didn't have the same connections I had, but he was happy.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a need to fix him or
Right.
make him different. And I was
Right.
10, and I was like, I don't know what's
so
going on
clear.
here. But yeah, that was my big ear.
I love that so
experience.
much. Yeah. All about connection. Yeah. That's so beautiful. Mm. Mm. It's all right if you want to call in the rain. Bang pots and pans. Make all the noise. Don't forget that pain. It only contributes to enriching the fields of my inside landscape. There isn't a sky large enough. There isn't a storm large enough that can scare the sky away. There isn't a storm large enough that can scare the sky away. Oh, oh, oh. No interrupting my flow. Oh, oh. The Ganges fly out of my soul. I'm drenched in a love that has no boundaries, no interrupting my flow. This moment's beyond all control. I give all I have, and more love rushes right in to fill me. I give all I have, and more love rushes right in to fill me. Feel free to invite all the mouths I have kissed before. And then bring my mother, my brothers, and my sister. All the slamming doors. I've noticed a transparent bridge that when trespassed supports only war. Naked is the armor I'm wearing. I'm putting down all swords. Naked is the armor I'm wearing. I'm putting down all swords. No, no, no. No interrupting my flow. The Ganges fly out of my soul. And then I'll sing it. So I can remember the lyrics. It's alright. Could someone pass me one of those little chaka chaka ching ching chonkies? Awesome. Thank you so much. Little cachapa. It's alright if you. Oh, wait, can we put a little reverb on this?
Oh, right.
Do you know how to do it? There's like,
Up here, I see it.
oh, yeah, effects. There's like a thing that you press, and there's one that you don't press, and it mutes the effects and then turns the effects on. Just one button.
I see that, but it was not off. It was not off. Muted. So.
Okay, so I've been had effects. Hey.
But apparently it's set to no effects. Small stage.
Oh, there's a dial that if you can turn it to 1. Thank you. Yay! It's alright if you want to call it the rain. Bang pots and pans, make some noise, don't forget. Oh no, 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 the pain. It only contributes to enriching the fields of my inside landscape. There isn't a storm large enough that can scare the sky away. Oh no, no interrupting my flow. The Ganges fly out of my soul. I'm drenching the world with a love so deep it has no boundaries. Oh, no interrupting my flow. This moment's beyond our control. I give all I have, and more love rushes right in to fill me. Feel free to invite all the mouths I have kissed before. Bring my mother, my brothers and sisters, each slamming door. I have noticed a transparent bridge that when trespass supports only war. Hey, naked is the armor I'm wearing. I'm putting down our swords. Oh no, no interrupting my flow. The Ganges fly out of my soul. I'm drenching the world with a love so deep it has no boundary. No, no interrupting my flow. There's a moment's beyond our control. I give all I have, more love rushes right in to fill me. No. Oh no. No. Oh no. Nothing ever interrupted my flow, no, no, no. Nothing ever interrupting this flow, no, no, no. Nothing ever interrupting this flow, no, no, no. Feeling to it in this flow, no, no, no. Everything is only ever exalted this moment. Everything is only ever exalted this moment. Every thought, na 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 na. Every thought, na 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 na. Every feeling, oh, feeling, oh. All the moments that you felt stuck or stagnant. All the moments that you felt stuck or stagnant. Still exalting this flow that you are. Still exalting this flow that you are. Never had a setback, all exalting you are. Never had a fallout, exalting all that you are. Anxiety, exalting all that you are. Depression, exalting all that you are. 2 steps back and 1,000 steps forward and 1,000,000 steps back and 2 steps forward and still hear this flow, still hear this flow, all is 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 this flow, this flow. All is this flow, all is this flow. 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 This flow. It's okay to let go. You're always in the flow. It's okay to let go. You're always in the flow. Yes, you in this flow. Always in this flow. Hey, living kaleidoscope, forever blossoming. Species go dreaming, a breathing philosophy, destined for nothing. Buzz of exceptions, the story of Earth is a possible sentence. Writing, erasing, here is where I belong. Only one planet with multiple whole world. Handries for life, fingers programmed to grow. Artists of light shine through mental projection. Crystallized truths are relying perception. Here is where I belong, this flow. Here is where I belong, this flow. Here is where I belong, this flow. This flow, yo, this flow. This flow, yo, this flow. Flow, yo, flow, 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 yeah. This flow, this flow. This flow, this flow, this flow, this flow. Let this flow, exalt your flow. So sweet to consider that we are exactly where we need to be. So sweet to consider that we've only been fed the most delicious vitamins of star stuff. We've been fed stars and galaxies. We've been fed an eternal darshan of love, an eternal darshan of deities and beings and Krishnas and Ramanas and Papajis and Nisargadatas and Jesus and Buddha, Kali Krishna, Isis Mandela, Sophia Mohammed, Yahweh Sai Baba, La Virgen Maria, Wakantaka Ramana, Wakantaka Ramana. Only ever fed what you need and who you are. Only ever fed all the most delicious of things. Everything served, everything served, everything served. Everything wrapped in the most finest of silks and the most finest of loves, the most delicious of milks. You've only been fed love. Been fed love, love is who you are. You've only been fed love. Even though it's cheesy, love is who you fucking are. So fun, so fun. Stop and consider that. Oh, I've only ever been this love. Oh, this love is all that's ever been exalted. Everything supporting, everything serving, everything inviting, everything undoing and breaking open. The heart can only break open. Bow to the feet of the broken heart. Bow to the feet of the broken heart. I am at the feet of the broken heart. I am at the feet of everything I've ever experienced, no matter what my mind thought about it then, no matter what my mind thinks about it now. I am at the feet of all of it, so grateful, so grateful, so grateful. All of life is but a lullaby for awakening. All of life is but a lullaby for awakening. Like the song I wrote with my friend Michael, Mike B, Ezra, Mike B, Zook, Mike B, Zook, Ezra, Michael, Mike B. Beautiful illusion, reality infusion, a beautiful illusion. Beautiful illusion, beautiful illusion. How sweet to consider this as a beautiful illusion. Beautiful appearance, a beautiful gift, a beautiful gem, a beautiful treasure. Human beautiful, human beautiful. Human beautiful, human beautiful. Human beautiful, just as you are. Human beautiful, just as the world is. Planet beautiful, just as the sky is. Sky beautiful, just as all is. Human beautiful. Thank you, beloveds, for this time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Did you stop it? Oh, hi. I'm ready.